Back to basics. Have you ever been to the eye doctor and the mean eye doctor, puts those eye drops in your eyes and they sting and burn and he says you're not allowed to drive for the next 5 hours and he looks in your eye and makes sure there's nothing screwy with your eye? Well, that process is called dilation. And what the eye doctor is doing by putting those drops in your eyes is it takes the little pupils, the little circular pupils in your eyes and making it bigger. You experience the same sensation when you see someone you love or somebody that you're interested in. So right now, most of you are watching this video and your eyes are dilating big. Does that mean your eye is changing shape? No, it's just getting larger. The circles are becoming larger circles. Well, that's what dilation is. Dilation is the process of taking a shape and making it bigger or smaller depending on the scale that you're given. So let's start with a few graphs. We are going to take this picture and dilate it with the scale factor of 2. That number right there is our scale factor, and that number is going to tell us how many times bigger or smaller our shape is going to be. In this case, it's going to be 2 times the size, which means it's going to get 2 times bigger. Now, in order for me to find out exactly where those points are going to go and how to draw this picture, I need to take my original points and write them out. So I'm going to take letter D right there. D is 2 units up. Don't move left or right. Go 2 units up. So D is 0, 2. H is right 1. Don't move. And V is left 1, down 1, which is the point -1, -1. Now, in order to dilate these points with a scale factor of 2, we're going to take every number in each point and multiply it by 2. Make sense? So we'll call it D prime now. D prime is going to be 0 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is, just joking, 0 times 2 is 0, 2 times 2 is 4. Whew, boy. H prime is going to be 1 times 2 is 2, 0 times 2 is 0, and -1, -1. V prime is going to be -1 times 2 is -2, and -1 times 2 is -2. Now I take those points and I graph those points out. D is 0, 4, which means don't move up 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a dot there, call it D prime. H is 2, 0, which means move right 1, 2, put a dot there, call it H prime. And V prime is -2, -2, which means left 1, 2, down 1, 2, put a dot there, call it V prime. Draw a line, draw a line, draw a line. And what you're looking at, the blue shape, is an image that's 2 times bigger than the original shape. It's 2 times bigger. If I were to take a little ruler and measure out the black line, then the line that corresponds to it is literally going to be 2 times bigger. I could use the distance formula, but you haven't learned that yet. Let's do another one. Dilation with a scale factor of 4. So whatever that shape is, my new shape is going to be 4 times bigger. So let's take a look at my points. I have a V, and the way I get to V is I don't move left or right, and I go up 1, so V is going to be 0, 1. I have A, which the way I get there is I go right 1, and I don't move up or down. And J is going to be -1 because I went left 1, and -1 because I go down 1. Now I need to make this shape 4 times bigger, and I do that by multiplying it by 4. Multiply everything by 4. So what will that give me? Well, V prime, 0 times 4 is 0, 1 times 4 is 4. A prime, 1 times 4 is 4, 0 times 4 is 0, kind of redundant. J prime is -1 times 4 is -4, -1 times 4 is -4. V prime is 0, 4, which means don't move, go up 1, 2, 3, 4, call it V prime. A prime is right 4, don't move, and J prime is left 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a dot there, call it J prime. Do your best to connect the dots. So far, so good. Do your best to connect those. Oh, look at me. I'll take it. So the purple shape is literally 4 times bigger because the scale factor is 4. That number tells me how many times larger my original shape is going to become. Now in this case, the scale factor is a half. What does that mean? It's going to be half times larger. In other words, it's going to become half the size. So this shape is going to end up getting smaller. If the scale factor is in between 0 and 1, it's going to get smaller. If the scale factor is bigger than 1, it's going to be bigger. So if the scale factor is 1, nothing changes because you're just saying, multiply everything by 1, which does nothing. You can't have a scale factor of 0. It would make everything disappear. You can't have a negative scale factor. That's wacky. So I'm going to do what I did last time, and I'm going to just write out my points. L is 1, negative 5. M is right 3, down 2. F is right 4, down 2. And W is right 5, down 5. Now this is going to be fun because we're multiplying by a half, and I have odd numbers here, and so I'm going to end up having decimals. No big deal. No big deal at all. I'm going to multiply everything by a half. L prime, 1 times a half is a half. Negative 5 times a half is negative 2.5. M prime, 3 times a half is 1.5. It's supposed to be a 2. Negative 2 times a half is negative 1. F prime, 4 times a half is 2. Negative 2 times a half is negative 1. W prime, 5 times a half is 2.5. Negative 5 times a half is negative 2.5. Let's draw it out. L prime is right 1/2 down negative 2.5, which appears to be there, and that's going to be L prime. M prime is right 1.5 down 1, and that's going to be M prime. F prime is right 2 down 1, so F prime is right next to it. And then W prime is right 2.5 down 2.5, so W prime is sitting right there. Connect, 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 4. And what we're supposed to have, if I knew how to draw, is that green shape is literally supposed to be half the size of the original shape. And it looks like it could be if I could draw straight lines with this thing. Let's do another. One more. Dilation of 1.5. So let's write out our original points. By the way, this dilation is 1.5, which means it's bigger than 1, which means it's going to get bigger. 1.5 doesn't mean it's going to get 2 times bigger. It's going to be 1.5 times bigger, just a little bit bigger, 50%, if you will. So P was left 3 up 1. I is left 1 down 3. Z is left 3 down 3. Oh, if only there was another Z and another A, that would be a very delicious shape. Pizza. All right, what's negative 3 times 1.3 is negative 4.5. 1 times 1.5 is 1.5. I prime is going to be negative 1 times 1.5, which is negative 1.5. Negative 3 times 1.5 is negative 4.5. And then z prime is going to be negative 3 times 1.5 and negative 3 times 1.5. So p prime is left 4.5 up 1.5. I prime is left 1.5 down 4.5. And z prime is left 4.5 down 4.5. Not happy with that picture, but what we're supposed to be looking at is that red shape being 1.5 times bigger. So bigger, but not as close as 2 times bigger. Okay? This is dilations, kids. Bye!